Are rising credit card rates blurring the lines between banks and loan sharks? Here with his take from Denver, where I don't think there are many blurry lines, is Dow Jones Newswire's columnist Al Lewis. So these numbers make you mad, because while banks are getting pretty much of a free ride with 0% interest rates, some of their credit card rates are awful.
Well, you can't believe how awful it is, Dave. A lot of the big mainstream banks have raised rates as high as 36%. Now, if you think about 36%, an unpaid balance would nearly double in 2 years if you kept it that long. I mean, this kind of thing used to be called usury, Dave. And well, you know, 36% isn't even the half of it. How would you like 59%? Or how would you like 79.9%? That is the rate being charged by First Premier Bank of South Dakota.
Well, you actually talk in your column to a former DA who used to charge loan sharks. Some of these guys used to break legs when people didn't pay up. But what these credit card companies, what the banks will do is take your house away, right?
Absolutely. You're talking about Terry Smiljanich, who is a former U.S. attorney in Tampa. In the 70s, he would go after loan sharks, and it was exactly what you said, Dave. They would threaten people with breaking their legs if they didn't pay. They charge these enormous rates. A lot of this was, of course, gambling debts. But he said that, you know, the rates that are being charged today, the banks, you know, the mob would be afraid to charge those rates. And, you know, we've seen a curious thing happen over time. You know, for the longest time in U.S. history, anything over 10% was considered usury and punishable by laws. And, you know, in the 70s, they had to raise rates a little bit to keep up with inflation. When inflation died, those rates remained the same. Then in 1999, we got some new laws that virtually eliminated usury laws. Your states could decide what they wanted to do. And South Dakota is so permissive, they don't care what you charge. If you move your bank to South Dakota, you can charge any interest rate you want. Usury laws are pretty much a thing of the past. And that's why we're seeing 80% credit card rates.
You challenge your readers, and we should challenge the folks out there. Look at your credit card statement, and I bet like 90% of you are going to see South Dakota on there. You may have wondered why it is. Well, it's because South Dakota, they have no limit as to how high these credits. Is all this going to change, Al? I mean, we don't like too much regulation.
Well, we don't like too much regulation. Right now, I don't think we have any regulation when it comes to the interest rates that banks can charge. And, you know, we've had this great expansion of credit, so there's some merit to it. But at the same time, you know, putting people who have bad credit histories into loans that are really expensive has not proven to be a very good business plan over time, Dave. I mean, we all know that almost anything with the word subprime on it eventually blows up, and the bag is left to those of us taxpayers to clean it up.
By the way, we just have to clear something up, Al. We just had Visa up. We should mention some of these credit card issuers are not necessarily the banks that issue the rates. Some of them are just clearinghouses. So we don't want to throw MasterCard and Visa into the same thing. By the way, we got to end, but
certainly
you quote The Godfather Part 3, finance is a gun, politics is knowing when to pull the trigger. Al Lewis, good to